everyone, welcome to Pulse of the Port. I'm your host, Sean Horish. You know, the Port of Long Beach moves $155 billion in cargo each year. And when you think of imports, they're pretty much split into thirds. 1/3 hits the rail and moves out to the rest of the country, another third stays in our local region, and the final third moves through a place like this. We are here at Ability Tri-Modal Transportation Services, an award-winning company that has more than 60 years of goods movement expertise and serves as a vital link in the supply chain. This is way more than just a warehousing operation, and you'll soon find out exactly what I mean. If current world trade trends continue, these folks are about to get pretty busy. Latin America is poised to add even more to the Port of Long Beach's already impressive cargo numbers. Buying fresh produce year-round is something we take for granted. But where does it come from when it's not in season? Mostly from Latin America, whose growing season is exactly the opposite of ours here in California. And this is just one of the goods that is regularly exchanged between the USA and Latin America. While currently only a small percentage of the total cargo processed by the Port of Long Beach today comes from or goes to Latin America, it's a market that is rapidly emerging.
When we talk about Latin America, we're excluding Mexico. Mexico is actually part of North America and has been a great beneficiary of the North America Free Trade Agreement, one of the most successful trade agreements anywhere on the planet. But we can't ignore the rest of Latin America. Excluding Mexico, Latin America has over 400 million people. That's more than the United States. That's a huge opportunity for U.S. companies to be able to export their goods and services to that market. We think that that will represent that strength and that diversity for companies here in the United States that are looking to expand in markets long term.
The four fastest growing countries in Latin America today are Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela, and Colombia. And when you look at the map, it's easy to understand why ports located on the east and Gulf Coast of the United States serve as key gateways for U.S. container trade with Latin America. But with changing demographics and the opening of the wider and deeper Panama Canal, built to accommodate larger ships, these trade patterns are expected to shift, bringing more trade to the Port of Long Beach.
Trade patterns change over time, and I think as most of the experts look at Latin America, they're saying that's where there's going to be a lot more future growth. And you don't want to get into that business late. You want to start now.
While we hear a great deal about the growth of trade with partners like China, Japan, and Korea, what is surprising is that in the past 10 years, trade with Latin America has grown by 82%, while trade with China has only grown by 72%. This is partly due to the number of free trade agreements that have been brokered in the past few years, along with growing demand for U.S. goods by the increasing middle class in countries like Brazil and Colombia. This is good news for American manufacturers, especially those in California and the western region of our country.
Trade between the United States and Latin America is relatively balanced. In other words, we export just about as much value of goods as we import. That's very attractive for our economy because we don't have then those trade imbalances. And as those trading barriers come down, we become bigger beneficiaries of our exports. We do want to try and grow our exports, exports from California as well as the rest of the nation, and Latin America represents a great opportunity for us to do that.
Making sure the Port of Long Beach is prepared for this increasing trade with Latin America, they've hired a full-time representative who will make sure all opportunities for trade are explored.
There's a tremendous upside potential. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we want to be well positioned. We just signed an MOU with the Panama Canal Authority. We're very active in working with our agent down in South and Central America to look at opportunities for growth.
As the new Panama Canal gets closer to opening for business in 2014, shippers as well as manufacturers will begin finalizing their logistics plans. And thanks to expanding economies and the Port of Long Beach's marketing and outreach efforts, the number of cargo containers making their way to and from Latin America will definitely grow. To keep up to date on this story and more, visit POLB.com. Whether they're coming from Asia, Latin America, or anywhere else, the items in those big cargo containers don't always finish the journey packed in the same container they left in. Coming up after the break, we'll take you through a process called transloading and show you how the port of the future is being built today.